Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Paul and with the Dicey review, and today we're going to be learning how to play the 2 to 5 player game Captain Flip, released by PlayPunk. Captain Flip comes with all of the components that you see here, including 10 double-sided adventure boards, 58 total coins in 4 different denominations, 72 double-sided character tiles, there are 9 unique characters across all of the tiles, a treasure map token, a cloth bag, and 3 double-sided player aids. To begin setup, first place all of the character tiles in the included bag. Then place all of the coins and the treasure map token in the center of the table. Then give each player an adventure board, making sure that it's on the A side. And also ensure that one of the player boards has the pirate flag symbol in the top left. This will indicate the first player. In the future, when players know the game better, they can decide if they would rather use the B, C, or D board, but all players need to make sure that they use the same board. Then it can be helpful if you place a player aid in between each player as well. All of the different character abilities and rules are explained on this player aid, and we'll also go into more detail for each character later in the video. Finally, make sure that the bag with all of the character tiles is near the play area, and then you're ready to start playing. In this game, you're trying to be the player who has the most coins. At the end of the game, the player who has the most coins will be the winner. Throughout the game, players will be drawing tiles from this bag that represent different crew. They'll then be using those tiles to fill up their ship and gain different rewards and bonuses. The game will last until 4 out of the 5 columns on any player's pirate ship are filled, at which point the game will be over and scoring will occur. The player with the pirate flag in the top left of their board will be the first player in the game. Beginning with this first player and then rotating clockwise around the table, each player will take a full turn. And on their turn, a player will follow these 4 steps. They'll begin by randomly drawing a tile from the bag, making sure that they can only see one side of the tile. Once a player draws a tile on their turn, they have to decide if they would like to keep the tile they drew or flip it to its other side. If a player decides to flip the character tile that they drew, they don't know what's going to be on the other side, and it's important to note that once they flip the tile, they have to keep the other character. They can't flip it back to the one that they initially drew. After a player has made the decision about which side of the tile they would like to keep, they then take the character tile and place it on the lowest most available space on any of the columns in their player board. After placing the tile on their board, a player would activate any immediate effects on the character tile, and if they fill the topmost space of any column showing a bonus symbol, they would gain that immediate bonus as well. After completing these 4 steps, play would pass to the next player in clockwise order, and play would continue in this way until the end of the game is triggered. Each character tile will have a different ability printed on the tile. Some of the abilities are in a yellow background like this example here, and some of the abilities are in a blue background like this example here. Character tiles that have a blue background ability won't activate that ability until the end of the game. So for instance, in our previous example, after placing this tile, no immediate effect would have taken place because their ability happens at the end of the game. This character, however, has an ability listed in the yellow background, which means that their ability would trigger when they're placed on your turn. It's also important to note that some characters will have both an immediate ability and an end of game ability. For instance, this parrot gives you an ability right when it's played, and it also has an effect that will take place at the end of the game. Finally, some columns on each player board have an immediate bonus printed at the top. If a player places a tile in the topmost space of any column that shows an immediate bonus, the player would gain that bonus if they fill in the top space of that column. So as an example, if a player were to place this tile on their turn, they would first gain the immediate benefit of the tile that they placed, and for filling in this top space of the column, they would gain this immediate bonus. Now that we've looked at what a player does on their turn, we'll look at each individual character tile and go over what their abilities are. The Swabby character will give you a number of coins at the end of the game depending on how many Swabbies are on your board. You can gain a different number of points for each Swabby depending on how many are in columns at the end of the game. For instance, in this example, there are 2 Swabbies in different columns on this player's board. Since that's the case, this player would gain 4 coins at the end of the game. If there were a third column that had a Swabby at the end of the game, like in this example here, the player would now gain 9 coins. A player can gain a maximum of 25 coins if they have a Swabby in each of the 5 columns. The parrot would have an immediate ability that takes effect when the player plays the tile. When you play a parrot, you immediately get to draw a new tile and play it. You would resolve the effect of the new tile that you've played. At the end of the game, each parrot would give you -1 coins, however. The cartographer has an immediate ability when played of grabbing the treasure map tile. When you play the cartographer, you would gain the treasure map token and place it near your play area. The treasure map token will give a player a coin at the end of every turn if they have that treasure map token. So the longer you have it, the more coins you'll get. The cook would give you an immediate ability when played. This tile will score a player 1 coin for every character that's in their row, and this includes the cook themselves. So in this example, after placing this character, the player would get 1, 2, 3 coins for placing this character. The gunner would give you an immediate ability when played. You gain 5 coins every time you place one of the gunner tiles. However, if a player has 3 or more gunners in their ship at the end of the game, they'll lose the game. The monkey, when played, has an immediate ability. First, the player would take 1 coin. Then, the player would be able to flip 1 adjacent tile to its reverse side, applying the effects of the newly revealed tile. So in this instance, after playing the monkey and taking their coin, this player could flip either this tile or this tile. It's important to note that they can only flip tiles to the left, right, below, or above. They can't flip diagonal tiles. And they might choose to flip this tile, since they don't want to have gunners at the end of the game. Also, after flipping this tile, they would gain the benefit of this cook, giving them more coins. When a player places the navigator tile, they would gain an immediate benefit as well. The navigator tile will give 2 coins for every cartographer that's on the map. You can see this symbol is listed at the top left of each of the cartographer tiles. So in this example, after placing this tile, the player would gain 4 coins. The carpenter would give an end of game benefit. This character would give you 3 coins at the end of the game if there's no gunner in the column or row where the gunner is currently in. And then finally, there is the lookout character. The lookout character would give you 4 coins at the end of the game, but only if there's no character above this tile in the same column. So in this example, the character would give the coins at the end of the game, but if it were to look like this instead, this character wouldn't score at the end of the game. As a reminder, there are also immediate benefits that are triggered if a player fills in the top space of any column that shows an immediate benefit printed. On the A side of the board, a player would get 3 coins if they fill in this space, 5 coins if they fill in this space, and they would gain the treasure map tile if they fill in this space here. Players would continue to play the game until any one player has 4 of the 5 columns on their ship filled. When this happens, players will finish the round, meaning players will continue to take turns until the player to the right of the player who has the pirate flag board has taken their turn. So for instance, in our example, if the player with the pirate flag board triggered the end of the game, this player and then this player would get to take their turn before the game was over. Then each player would calculate their final score. They would first count up all the coins they've gained during the game, and then they would score coins for each of their characters that has an end of game effect, gathering those coins or losing them if applicable. After resolving all of the end of game effects and counting the coins, the player with the most coins would win the game. If there's a tie, any players who have the treasure map marker in that tie would win. Otherwise, all the tied players would share the victory. It's also important to note that the different letter player boards will have different immediate bonuses printed at the top of the columns. Once players are more familiar and comfortable with the game, they can switch out these boards to get a different play experience. To find out more details about these different bonuses on the boards, please see the player aid on the back side. Alright everybody, that was our video. We hope that it was helpful and we hope that it was informative. If you still have any questions about how to play the game, please comment below and I'll do my best to answer those questions for you if I can. Also, if you enjoy the content that we are creating and putting out, please make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and click the bell icon to be notified whenever we put out new videos in the future. Alright, thanks so much for watching everybody, and until next time, I'll see you at the table.